Alright guys, welcome back. It is a cold, rainy, windy, wet, just miserable day outside today, and I thought that would be the perfect opportunity for me to hide away here in the warm garage and tackle a small project that I've been wanting to do for a while, and that is build myself a set of folding sawhorses. I have looked up online already to see what other versions of this I could find, and there's a lot of very good woodworkers on YouTube, obviously, and I saw some great ideas, great designs, but what I'm going to be going for today is just a really easy, simple way to do this. So if you're a beginner woodworker, or if you just don't want to spend a lot of time on, making different joints and whatnot just for a set of sawhorses, this might be the video for you. I'm just going to show you how you can basically construct these in the easiest possible way with the least amount of tools. What I'm going to be using is 1-inch rough cut lumber that I've personally cut myself on a sawmill. Right now they're different widths and lengths, but the first step I'm going to do is to just rip it down to 5 inches wide on a table saw. The 5 inches wide is kind of just an arbitrary width I've came up after going through the pile of rough lumber I have here and kind of figuring, what the maximum width is that I could get out of most of the boards. If you're gonna buy your lumber from a lumber yard, you can use anything. You could use a sheet of plywood and do the same idea that I'm doing here, or you could just buy the lumber already in the widths of, if it's like a 1x6 or 1x8 barn board, it goes up to 1x12 around here, I believe. You could use any of that. You could even use 2x4s, 2x6s, 2x8s. Obviously, the bigger, bulkier wood that you use, it's going to make them stronger, but on the downside, it's going to be a lot bulkier, take up more room, and be heavier to carry around. But without further ado, I'm going to get started right now. Like I was saying, if you bought sheets of plywood or something like this, you'll have to do the same step as I'm doing now, which is ripping it down to a width. If not, you'll be starting at the next step, which is when you start cutting it into lengths. Alright, so I got that done. I got my stack of lumber here. It's all 1 inch by 5 inches wide now. So the next step I'm going to do is cut them into the lengths that I need. I'm going to be building 2 sawhorses, and for that I'm going to need 16 pieces cut at 3 feet. So 16 pieces cut at 3-foot lengths. So if you're going to buy your lumber for this project, just keep that in mind. Okay guys, so for this build you'll need a few things. The first thing is some wood screws. Because I'm using 1-inch lumber, I'll be screwing 2 of those boards together, which will make it 2 inches thick. So I've got 1 3/4 wood screws here. That'll make it so that when you tighten it up, it'll go all the way through both pieces, just to within 1/4 inch of breaking through the other side. And that's always nice, not to have going through as far as you can, but not having the screw poke out the other side where it can jab you when you're grabbing it or something like that. So that's the first thing you need. I think you end up needing 64 screws for this particular project, so I've got a package of 100 here. You can also, at your local hardware store, grab a little chain like this. I just got 6 feet of it. That'll come in at the end for the bottom, just to have something so your horses can't fly right open, because they will be on a hinge, and this kind of stops it at the bottom from going out. And lastly, 4 door hinges. I picked these up. You can get them for cheap at your hardware store. And these are just like 3x3 door hinges, and that'll be at the top of each sawhorse on each end, just for a hinge to open and shut it. So that's kind of all the extras that you need besides the lumber to make this build happen. Alright guys, so probably the most time consuming part of the whole project that won't even take that long is just attaching these. You're going to make 4 boxes, kind of like how I have it laid out here. Just put 2 pieces vertical, then put your other 2 pieces on top of them. Just grab a square, start at one corner, and just work your way around. If you're worried about the wood splitting at all, you can always pre-drill it. I'm going to put 4 screws in each point. If you think you need more, go for it, but I'm going to do 4, and that's where you get your 64 from. Okay, just do that 3 more times and we'll move on from there. Okay guys, so we've got them put together. I got 2 here, 2 there. So the first thing I'm gonna do is assemble these 2 together, and that will make 1 sawhorse. So we're gonna put the hinges on and put them together so that the board on top on both of them is running parallel along each other, and then we can screw the hinges on. If you want to get really fancy, you could notch the wood out so the hinge sets down flush in it like you would with a door. I do not want to get that fancy. I'm just going to screw it right on top of the wood like that. It'll work fine. I am going to measure in from each edge 2 inches. Just that's an arbitrary number, but you don't want to put it right on the edge. It might split the wood kind of thing and not be as strong. So just bring it in from the edge a little bit. And I also might leave, you know, a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch space in between the 2 pieces of wood, just to make sure that they open and close freely. And you know, if this wood were to ever swell up, if it got wet or something like that, then you won't run into binding issues. To put the hinge on, it's pretty easy. The only really suggestion I'd have is just you can line the edge of the hinge up so it's running straight along the edge of your piece of wood, and then that's how you know they'll open and close good for you. So I'm just gonna grab my tape, put that at 2 inches, line that up. These particular ones have 3 screws on each side. So there's that. Then from there, I'm just gonna keep them the same. So that's 3/8 of an inch, and that looks good to me. So I'm gonna screw this side down. And then I'll take you over to the other side to do the same thing. So then I can just do the exact same thing on this side. Measure in 2 inches. Make sure that I line it up so it's running straight up and down the wood there. So again, I'll just screw this right into place here, like so. And then I'll just measure my 3/8 of an inch again, just to make sure everything's gonna run nice and parallel. And there. Forgot to get one of the screws out of the package, but I found it, so there we go. All right, so there's the first one that's got the hinges on it. I'm just gonna do the same thing to the other one. And there's the second sawhorse done. So now what I'm gonna do is I have my chain here. I got 6 feet of it. What I'm gonna do is cut it into 4 18-inch lengths. So I guess I'll just start by cutting it in half at 36, which is right there. And then I'll go 18. And we'll go 2 more 18s. So there's our 4 lengths of chain. Let's install them. Alright guys, I'm going to show you the idea behind the chain here. I'm just going to pre-drill a couple holes, say a couple inches in and down from the edge. One on that side. One on that side. And I'm just using some of the leftover 1 3/4 wood screws. I'm just putting it through the end of the chain on one side. And same thing through the end of the eye on the other side. There. And then that's the idea there, is it'll only let the sawhorse open up so far, so that's basically your stop from, you know, the whole sawhorse collapsing. So I'm putting one on this side and one on the other side of each sawhorse, so you can see on this sawhorse I've already done that side. So that's the first sawhorse complete. And when you're not using it, just folds up like that. Nice and flat kind of thing, so you can store it away in a closet or whatever. And when you do want to use it, just opens up nice and quickly like that. So there's one done. I'll get back to you as soon as I get the chains put on the other one. Alright, so there we go. That's all there is to it. I got my two sawhorses here complete. For myself, who I would classify maybe in the moderate knowledge and skills category. You know, I'm not a master by any stretch of the imagination, but I am pretty familiar with using tools and measuring and cutting and that sort of thing. It took me maybe an hour, even with videotaping and stuff, so it's not a daunting project by any stretch of the imagination. Like, if it's something that you're interested in, you know, a rainy morning or something should definitely finish them up for you. And like I was saying before, besides the lumber, the only things you really need are 4 hinges, the 6 feet of chain, and a box of 100 or so screws. And yeah, online I know there's a lot of different designs. A lot of them are better than this design as far as quality and strength go. But if you're a beginner, or you don't have all these tools, or you just don't want to put that much time and effort into building a set of sawhorses like I didn't, I think this is a great way to go. They're strong enough for me. I've built them this way before and they'll last a long time, so I'm happy with how these turned out, and I just thought I'd document the process because maybe there's some other people out there that were looking these up online, and I know a lot of the top videos I've seen are kind of complicated in my opinion for just a set of sawhorses. So hopefully this gives you an easy alternative. But anyways, that's going to be everything for me today. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.